Look, I'm going to tell you something you might not want to hear. But deep down, you know it's true. You are not like everyone else. You are not meant to live an average life. If you're watching this video, you're looking for a way to break free from mediocrity, right? You want power, control, influence. But here's the thing. That's only going to happen if you're willing to do things others won't. Trust me, I've been where you are. I used to be overlooked, ignored, even underestimated. I wasn't the person people turned to for advice, but I changed, and it all started when I understood something that most people never will. Trust is the ultimate currency. And here's the kicker. You can manipulate that trust. You can make people trust you instantly if you understand how the human mind works. It's not magic, it's psychology. And I'm about to give you the real techniques that will make people believe in you, follow you, and trust you. Instantly. But I'll warn you, if you're not serious about changing your life, if you're okay being like everyone else, just click away right now. Go ahead, lock yourself in your room, keep doing what you've always done, and live an average life. But if you're ready to step up and break the mold, then keep watching, because I'm about to show you the dark psychology that will change everything. Number 1, mirror their behavior. Have you ever been in a conversation where you instantly clicked with someone? That connection is often due to an unconscious psychological process called mirroring. Essentially, when you subtly mimic someone's behavior, whether it's their body language, speech patterns, or even their emotions, your brain creates a feeling of alignment. You are signaling to their subconscious, we're alike, we're on the same wavelength. Let's break it down. When you mirror someone, you're not copying them blatantly. Instead, you're mirroring their posture, gestures, tone, or energy in a subtle way. This creates a sense of familiarity and builds rapport without them even realizing why they feel comfortable with you. I've used this technique many times to build trust, especially when I was trying to connect with a group of high-level executives. Instead of trying to adapt to their world, I observed their behavior and then mirrored their actions. When they leaned in, I leaned in. When their speech slowed down, mine did too. It wasn't forced or awkward. It was natural, and over time, they started to view me as part of their group. The result? Trust was built effortlessly. Mirroring works because of a deep-rooted psychological phenomenon called the chameleon effect, which shows that we tend to like those who behave like us. By making these small but powerful adjustments, you make others feel like they've known you for much longer than they have. Number 2, use their name often. There's a reason why hearing your name feels good. When someone uses your name in a conversation, it triggers a psychological response in your brain. It creates a sense of acknowledgement, recognition, and connection. Studies have shown that people are more likely to trust and feel positively toward those who use their name during interactions. It's a simple, almost unconscious gesture that signals respect and familiarity. I first realized the power of this technique when I was trying to build a relationship with a potential mentor. I knew they were busy and didn't have much time to spare, so I wanted to make a strong impression. One of the easiest ways I found to do this was by using their name at least 3 times in every conversation. At first, it felt a little forced, but over time I noticed a shift. They began to warm up to me, and our interactions became more meaningful. By the end of our conversations, they didn't see me as just another person trying to get their attention. They saw me as someone who genuinely cared about them. Using someone's name is a small but incredibly powerful tool to create trust and make people feel valued. Number 3, be vulnerable. This one can be difficult, especially in a world where we're often encouraged to present a perfect, confident image. But the truth is, vulnerability is one of the most powerful ways to gain trust. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable and open up about your struggles or uncertainties, people perceive you as authentic. They connect with your flaws, and that creates an emotional bond. Vulnerability signals that you are real and human, and it makes others feel comfortable doing the same. I remember my first time speaking in front of a large audience. I was terrified. My palms were sweaty, my heart raced, and my knees were shaking. Instead of pretending everything was fine or putting on a confident front, I chose to admit how I was feeling. I told the audience, I'm nervous, but I'm here because I believe this message is important and I want to share it with you. Immediately, people's energy shifted. They saw me as one of them. They trusted me because I was being honest and vulnerable. And guess what? Vulnerability made me more relatable. It made them trust me more, not less. So, the next time you're in a high-stakes situation, don't hide your fears or weaknesses. Own them. It will help you build connections and trust faster than any act of perfect confidence ever will. Number 4, give before you receive. The principle of giving first is timeless, and for good reason. If you want to build trust, you need to show that you're willing to offer something of value without expecting anything in return. This could be advice, support, or even your time. Giving first shows that you're not out to manipulate or gain something immediately. You're there to help, and that builds goodwill. This is a critical part of creating genuine relationships. I've found this strategy incredibly effective in the workplace. There was a time when I needed a favor from a colleague, but I knew that simply asking for it right away would make me seem transactional. So instead of immediately asking for help, I first offered to support them with a project they were working on. I didn't expect anything in return, but I knew that by offering my assistance first, I was showing that I was invested in their success. Later, when I asked for a favor, they were more than willing to help because I had already shown that I could be trusted. This principle isn't just about giving physical things, it's about showing that you care and are willing to invest in the other person's well-being before asking for anything in return. Number 5, speak in their terms. Have you ever tried to communicate with someone and felt like they weren't really hearing you? Or perhaps they were just nodding along but didn't seem fully engaged? This often happens when you don't speak the same language, metaphorically speaking. People think in different ways. Some are more logical and analytical, while others are more emotional and intuitive. If you can speak to someone in their terms, using their frame of reference and language, you create an instant bond. They begin to trust you because they feel understood. I had a great example of this during a business meeting with a CEO who was all about performance metrics and numbers. I knew I had to speak their language to gain their trust. So instead of using abstract ideas or emotional appeals, I focused on concrete data. I talked about return on investment, ROI, key performance indicators, KPIs, and analytics. I framed my ideas around the tangible results they cared about. By the end of the meeting, the CEO wasn't just on board with my ideas, they trusted me completely because I was speaking their language. If I had used emotional or high-level ideas that didn't connect with them, the conversation would have gone very differently. This technique is about customizing your communication to match the other person's thinking style. When they feel that you truly understand how they view the world, trust follows naturally. Number 6, make eye contact. Eye contact is often referred to as the window to the soul because of its incredible power to convey trustworthiness and sincerity. When you make eye contact with someone, you're sending a non-verbal signal that you are present, engaged, and genuinely interested in what they have to say. It's a fundamental aspect of human communication that can either build or break trust depending on how it's used. However, it's important to strike a balance. While eye contact can make you appear open and honest, excessive or intense eye contact can come off as intimidating or even confrontational. Imagine a conversation where someone is staring at you relentlessly. This could feel more like a power play than an effort to connect. The key is to maintain a relaxed and comfortable gaze, looking into the other person's eyes, but also occasionally breaking it with a glance away to make the interaction feel natural and less overwhelming. I remember when I first started practicing eye contact, I struggled with it. I used to be the person who looked away during conversations, feeling nervous and unsure. The discomfort made me seem evasive or disconnected. But once I consciously worked on maintaining eye contact, I began to notice a shift. People started responding to me more positively, and I could see them trusting me more in conversations. I gained the confidence I had been lacking simply by mastering this small but significant gesture. Number 7, use the power of silence. In our fast-paced world where everyone is constantly talking, there's a surprising power in silence. The ability to be comfortable in silence, especially during conversations, can make you appear more thoughtful, patient, and trustworthy. Silence creates space for the other person to speak, allowing them to open up in ways they might not have otherwise. This not only gives you a deeper insight into their thoughts and feelings, but it also shows that you are willing to listen, not just talk. In fact, silence often encourages the other party to reveal more about themselves, whether that's their true feelings, opinions, or intentions. I remember during a negotiation I had, there was a moment where I had the chance to jump in with a counteroffer. But instead of immediately responding, I stayed silent. It felt uncomfortable at first, but I trusted the process. To my surprise, the other party began filling the silence with more information than I could have ever anticipated. They explained their position more clearly, offering insights that helped me understand their needs better. That moment of silence created a stronger trust between us, as it showed that I wasn't rushing or trying to manipulate the situation. I was there to listen and understand, not just to win. Number 8, be consistent. Consistency is one of the most powerful tools for building trust. People are naturally drawn to individuals who are reliable, those who follow through on their commitments and act predictably over time. When you are consistent in your actions and words, you signal to others that they can count on you, that you are dependable, and that you won't let them down. Trust grows when people know they can rely on you to show up and behave in a way that aligns with their expectations. For example, during a project I worked on with a team, I made it a point to follow through on every promise I made, no matter how small. If I said I would complete a task by a certain deadline, I did. If I offered my help to someone, I made sure to be there when needed. Over time, my colleagues began to see me as someone they could depend on, and as a result, their trust in me grew. Consistency doesn't just apply to keeping promises, it also applies to your behavior. If you act in ways that align with your words over time, people will begin to trust you more deeply. Number 9, show empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person, and it is one of the most powerful tools for gaining trust. When you show empathy, you let others know that you care about their emotions and experiences. It's about connecting on a human level, beyond just the surface level of conversation. People instinctively trust those who show they understand what they are going through and who genuinely care about their well-being. I recall a time when a close friend of mine was going through a particularly difficult situation. Rather than jumping straight into problem-solving mode, I made sure to listen to them first. I validated their feelings, acknowledged how tough the situation was, and simply offered a compassionate ear. By doing this, I wasn't just offering solutions. I was showing that I truly understood what they were feeling. This simple act of empathy not only strengthened our bond, but also deepened their trust in me. When people feel understood, they're much more likely to trust you because they know you truly get them. Number 10, be confident, not arrogant. Confidence is an incredibly attractive quality that makes people feel secure in your presence, but there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. Confidence is rooted in self-assurance and a belief in your own abilities, while arrogance often stems from a need to prove yourself to others. Confidence makes people feel at ease with you, whereas arrogance can create a sense of distance and discomfort. I once had an interview where I was up against a candidate with more experience and qualifications than me. On paper, I was the underdog, but I knew that my abilities and potential were strong, so I focused on expressing my confidence without sounding boastful. I spoke clearly, with conviction in my ideas, but I didn't try to overshadow others or act as though I knew it all. The interviewers were drawn to my self-assurance, and in the end, they trusted me enough to offer me the position. My confidence without any arrogance was the key to gaining their trust. Look, the techniques I've just shared with you are not for the faint of heart. You can use them to gain instant trust, but only if you're willing to change. You can either go back to your ordinary life, stay average, and keep wondering why things aren't working out, or you can take control. Start using these techniques and change your destiny. What's it going to be? If you're serious about transforming your life, then start applying these strategies today. The choice is yours. But remember, real change starts with action. If you want more powerful psychological strategies like these, Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Your journey to mastering influence starts now.